for the Roth IRA income limits, what you want to pay attention to is this. So this is the 2025 tax year. So what that means is that your income is going to be between January 1st and December 31st of 2025, but you have until April 15th, 2026 to make the Roth IRA contribution. Okay. So if you're single and you are making less than $150,000 a year, if you look at the top line here, you can max out your Roth IRA contributions at $7,000. And if you're married, filing your taxes jointly, then your modified adjusted gross income, or MAGI, needs to be under $236,000. And if you're filing separately, there's literally a $0 limit. So if you're married and filing your taxes jointly, then you're going to have to do what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. Okay. And you can do a catch-up contribution for $1,000. But if you look at the income chart here, right, look at the far left, you see where it says 151,500 and then 153,000. So you see that if you look on the second column from the right, it reduces how much you can contribute. So going from 7,000, 6,300, 5,600, 4,900, and then you can do a partial contribution at that point. And then the rest of it, you're going to have to put it in a traditional IRA and then do the backdoor conversion. Now, when your income reaches above 165,000, if you look at the very bottom here, as a single individual, then you're not eligible to contribute directly to the Roth IRA. And if you're married, filing jointly, then you cannot contribute directly to your Roth IRAs if you're making over $246,000 a year. Now, you are eligible to do backdoor Roth IRA, even if you're under the income limits. Okay, so it's a loophole that's been around for a long time, and people are kind of looking at it like, say, why does this even exist? And that's one of the things that I really hope that they can pass the law in the future and just say, let's get rid of the Roth IRA income limits. Okay, and there is a proposal. It's called USA, Universal Savings Account, that they put in the Ways and Means Committee tax proposal, and I'm going to talk about that in the future video, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't done it already. But let's say you are hanging out and you're not sure your income is going to be between 149, 150, and 165. So what you can do, a couple of things that you can do, is you can just put your cash into a high yield savings account and just park that $7,000 into a high yield savings account and just leave that alone and wait until the end of the year in December and take a look at your pay stub and see how much money you have made. You don't have to wait until you get your W-2 from your job to look at how much money you have made so far. You can actually look at your pay stub and look at what's called a year-to-date payout. So it should be the first line that says your gross earnings or your taxable income. And let's say if it says 150,000 year to date, that's how you know how much money you made in 2025. So let's say you end up being like $150,000 right at that point, then just, you can still park your money in a high yield savings account and then do the conversion, or take the money out of your high yield savings account and put it into a Roth IRA directly and make it into a contribution. You can do it that way because at that point you're like, all right, cool. You may not be able to invest it in the market, but you're kind of playing it safe by not putting directly into the Roth IRA, and you realize that you got a bonus later on in the year, and you end up, getting penalized for putting into a Roth IRA when you weren't supposed to. And something I want to be very clear about, and what I mean by contribution. So, contribution means that you're putting money directly from your checking account, savings account into a Roth IRA. Okay, so let me show you this. So you can do checking account. Let me zoom in on that. Savings account, whatever account. And you can just directly contribute to a Roth IRA. Okay, so you're just putting money directly into it and say, all right, I'm just going to do a transfer from checking account, savings account to a Roth IRA. And this is called contribution, right? Now, let's say you are above the income limit, or you're not sure that you're going to be above the income limit, then you can do what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. And that's just a label, but what you're really doing is putting money into your traditional IRA instead. So if you're not sure you're going to be over the income limit, you can park it in the savings account that's earning you, let's say, 3.7% in interest, or you can put it in a traditional IRA and just pick a money market fund that pays you 3%, 3.5%, whatever that might be. Not personalized financial advice, but I'm just kind of giving you some options, right? You can park it in there. It doesn't matter what you do. What you don't want to do yet is moving your money out of the traditional IRA into a Roth IRA, because that's when the conversion begins, right? So you're not going to be taxed on the conversion here, assuming that you have no money, no rollovers in your traditional IRA. So you can move money out of the traditional IRA into the Roth IRA, and this one becomes backdoor conversion into a Roth IRA. That makes sense? Okay. So when you do this right here, this is a contribution. When you do this right here, this is also a contribution. What you're waiting on is your salary by the end of the year, and you're waiting for this conversion to happen when you have your final salary in December. And then when you move it to a Roth IRA, then that backdoor conversion kicks in, right? So when that happens, you don't pay any taxes on it because you're above the deductible limits, and assuming that you have no rollovers in your traditional IRA. So that's something that you really have to keep an eye on, is make sure that you have no pre-existing balance in your traditional IRA, or otherwise it's going to trigger what's called a pro rata rule. You don't want that, okay? And I explained that in a different video that you can check out about the pro rata rule. So there's nothing wrong with putting money into the traditional IRA and just leave it in there for a while until you get your salary figured out, and just park it in something that is going to help you earn more interest in going there, right? And you just want to make sure that you keep track of your salary. Keep track of how much money you're making. Maybe you're going to be switching jobs that's going to lower your income. And let's say it's going to lower your income from like 150,000 to 100,000. Then you may be able to just directly contribute to your Roth IRA without any issues. So that's something to keep in mind.